Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again for another riveting episode of Complex Graps here on Complex Media. Anywhere you can get your Complex Media, YouTube, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, all that nonsense. As always, I am Jamie Iovine, the Senior Vice President of Popular Culture at Complex, and I'm joined always by my good buddy, Subway Mania's own Tim Hann Rivera. Tim, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm feeling great, man. We lit. This episode is about to be fantastic, man.
Yeah, we're coming off the heels of a good one, and we're jumping right into another good episode as well. NXT last night was jumping, to say the least. There was a lot going on. We had that number one contenders match, and our next guest was actually involved in that match, and things didn't turn out all right. You know, there was a lot of moving parts going on, to say the least, and I'm sure he's not too happy with the result, but he's not out of the fight yet. But he is one of the newest acquisitions of the NXT roster, a long time coming, and yeah, he's no stranger to this business whatsoever. And accolades up the wazoo. He's a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And he's been around. You've seen him on your TV a few times, I'm sure. And we're very excited to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is Cruz Montana. Cruz, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, guys, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Cruz, yeah, man. Sure. I mean, last night it looked like you had it in the bag, man. It looked like you were set up to be the next number one contender, but I don't think any of us could have expected. It seemed like it was going to happen down the line, but last night it didn't seem like it was going to happen then. The newly debuted Zillify 2 kind of threw a wrench in your plans, man. How you feeling after last night?
Man. I needed to give myself a little bit of, I'm the type of person now that I try not to react too much off of emotion, right? So I try to give myself a little bit of time to process things and to make sure I don't spaz out like I usually do. But, I went back to my hotel and like, I guess, processed everything and cooled things down. Like you said, I had it in the bag. Like that number one contendership was mine. And when I first stepped through the doors of NXT, I made a statement and I made my intentions loud and clear, right? And last night, Zilla just did the same thing. And I got to give props where they're due. The only unfortunate thing for him is now he made it personal, and now we're going to have to handle business. That's just the way it is. One thing I know about myself is that I thrive in these kind of situations. If you've been following my career over the last, 2-3 years, I've been put in spots like this countless times, and I always come out on the other side clean. And this is just one of those opportunities for me to grow from, for me to learn from. And if there's one thing that I know, and there's one thing that everybody else knows, is that when I'm pissed off, let's get it. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it as this is another part of the process, is another part of getting to where I need to get to, and nothing like anything in my life, anything in my career, nothing was ever handed to me. I've fought for everything that I've got. And now coming here to the WWE, this is the top of the world. Nothing's different. I'm going to keep fighting for everything that I'm going to get. So we here.
Crazy, man. I saw your post on Instagram a little while ago. You said, I don't care who your family is. Basically, it's on site for Zillify 2. The difference is, though, you guys basically encountered each other so many times during the indies, but now, you guys are both in the WWE. You got the bloodline and stuff like that. You don't feel any type of like I don't want to say intimidated, but how do you prepare for this? How do you prepare for this?
Tim,
a lot of people.
Tim, if there's anything you know about me, is that you know where I come from.
Yeah.
This ain't nothing new for me, honestly. I've been in these situations before in real life. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna allow no kind of intimidation. I'm not that's just not me. You know what I mean? Fear doesn't pull me back from anything. If anything, fear pushes me forward. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good. Like, I've dealt with situations like this before, and there's nothing different.
You had an incredible debut. You weren't a stranger to NXT by any stretch of the imagination, but your debut when you finally cemented yourself as a WWE superstar felt like a long time coming. People were ready for you to show up, and I think the audience really showed that when you arrived. Is this? I know everybody has aspirations of finally becoming WWE champion or just being in the WWE in general.
Right.
Starting out, you've had such a journey. You've been everywhere. It feels like, man. Like, was this always like the end game, or were you kind of just one of those guys that's like, okay, we'll conquer the next step as we get there?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both, right? Like, I mean, of course, I grew up a fan, just like all of us, right? I grew up following the product since I was 4 or 5 years old. When I got into the business, I think it was more of, I'm gonna ride this wave and see where it takes me. You know what I mean? Like, and my journey has just been so crazy and so different. Like you said, I've been everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, the last 20 years, one thing that I've loved too, and I've respected from guys who came before me, I love being a journeyman, right? I love going around the world. Guys like Eddie and Malenko and Jericho, and all these dudes that I grew up watching and really studying, that was it. They were pro wrestling journeymen, and they honed their craft by moving around the world. And I took that blueprint and I studied it, and that's what I mirrored. You know, I always said, like, if you want to be an amazing professional wrestler, you want to be able to be placed anywhere in the world and work. And I've always taken that to heart. So, but as far as making it here to the WWE, I think it was more of like, I'm gonna keep working and busting my ass like I have been, and see where it takes me. You know, of course, like, this is the pinnacle. This is the top of the top, right? And of course, if you're in this business and you don't want to be here, then what are you doing, right? But yeah, it's like, being here now and getting here now, even 20 years later, is just reminding me and validating myself as far as like, all right, the work that I put in, it was for something, and it paid off, and it's continuing to pay off, right? Just because I'm here doesn't mean that I get to sit back and relax and nah. Like, everywhere that I've gone, the first time that I step in is like, all right, this is the beginning. You know, now is a fresh start, and we're gonna keep working. So that's just my mindset with everything.
Cruz, I wanted to ask you, like, we all know who Mike Santana was, right? So what is the difference between, I guess, what is the difference between Cruz Montana and Mike Santana? What is this version of Cruz gonna accomplish? What can fans look forward to?
I don't think there's much of a difference. I think the only thing is, Cruz Montana is just the beginning of my journey here in the WWE. You know what I mean? But you're getting the same dude. You're getting the same guy that has grinded, you know, to get to where he's at. You know, I think for me, that's the main thing. Is just Cruz Montana is the beginning of this chapter.
Fire.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It's everywhere you've been, Cruz, it's you've really as you mentioned before, you put the work in. It's undeniable that every place you've been, you've really tried to take advantage of your screen time, so to speak. You know, like, every time you've gone in a match, with it just be 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 6-on-6, wherever it was, you've maximized your minutes.
Right.
You've been on your own for a little bit now, and you're the main focus. You're your own guy, essentially, now, especially now more than ever in NXT. I mean, you got it, like Tim said, you're not specifically going up against the Bloodline, because he's the only member of that family on the NXT roster as we speak. You know, hopefully it stays that way, but was this always someone that, was this version of you, like, your own master, your own destiny? Is this something that you always wanted? Is this something that, like, you feel more comfortable in? More like, if I win, if I lose, it's my fault. You know, you're your own man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think this is definitely the best version of myself, for sure. Like, like you said, I hold myself down. All my successes, all my failures are all because of me.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
and I feel like this is definitely where I'm meant to be. You know, I've proven that the last few years, and I've, like you said, one thing we're always taught is maximize your minutes, and I've done exactly that. Everywhere that I've gone, any situation that I've been put in, I maximize my minutes and I make the most of whatever opportunity is thrown at me. Like when you know, during my previous, you know, stages of my career, it was different dealing with someone else and having to always consult or try to, you know, communicate. Now is like, it's all on me, and I love it. I love it that way. You know, I thrive the most when I'm just dealing with myself, and I'm the master of my own destiny, like you said. But yeah, man, I'm excited, and I've been in the game 20 years, and I feel like I'm just getting started. So I feel better than ever. I'm in the best shape I've ever been. My body feels great. You know, it's go time.
Now that you're in the WWE, what are some, I guess, dream matches or dream opponents that you want to compete against?
Damn, you put me on the spot. Man, you know what's crazy is that when I look at the roster now, and I'm sure like you guys would know, like I've been around so long that I feel like I've worked a lot of these guys, right? You know,
Yeah.
with the exception of like, you know, the Randy Ortons and you know, the Bloodline guys and stuff like that. But for the most part, I've come up on the indies with a lot of these guys and girls that are around today, you know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to see all of us get to this this stage, right?
Crazy.
But yeah, man, I always go back to wishing like me and AJ Styles could have happened.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that was like the ultimate, you know, match for me.
We thought it was for a
Yeah.
second. Yeah.
Yeah,
we-
right. I
yeah.
thought it was for a
That's what
second.
we thought.
Nah, but yeah, he's that dude, man, and like he is of course, like getting to work with Cody again, guys like Punk and guys like, you know, guys like that. Like I would definitely love to mix it up. But for me, honestly, like with whoever I work, no matter the experience or whatever the case is, I always try to take something away from it. You know what I mean? Even if the person is less experienced than I am or more experienced, I always feel like there's something to learn. And that's always my mindset with going into a match and stuff. So and you know me, Tim, like I whoever wants to get it is gonna get it. You feel me? Like,
Yeah. Facts.
so nah, like I'm ready for whatever.
You've
Yeah.
you're main roster bound no matter what. I mean, that's just a given. But you got some challenges coming your way in NXT right now. I mean, the roster right now is really coming into its own. You know, there's always leaps and valleys with NXT and WWE rosters as years go on. But right now, you got people like, I mean, your opponent last night, Grayson Waller, who's been revitalized in some. He's like reinvented himself in a way. You got Naraku, you got the current NXT champion Tony D'Angelo, which is, of course, I'm sure your number one target. It like focusing on D'Angelo specifically. Is this someone that you? I don't know. It's he's not green by any stretch of the imagination anymore. But you have a lot more experience going into it if you ever face him in a one-on-one for the championship.
Right.
Do you feel that gives you an advantage against someone like this who was raised in a system of just the NXT brand versus who's been everywhere, like we've discussed?
I think yeah, there's definitely kind of an advantage, but I don't underestimate anybody. You know what I mean? He was brought up in this system, so and this is my first time pretty much in the system. So you know, there's things that he has above me than anything, right? Like he's been in this system, he's been learning from a lot of these guys here, and I got to give him credit. Like he's done an amazing job with his career. He's done an amazing job with carrying this brand. And I'll never shy away from giving props where they do. But yeah, like I want to test out that knowledge now. Let's see what all the things that you've learned. Let's see what that fire that you have inside. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, like, again, that's my main target. Everywhere, every door that I've knocked down, I've made a statement, and coming here was no different. Like, I remember when I first stepped foot into TNA, I was like, yo, I'm here for the top spot. And it's the same thing coming here. I'm here for the top spot. So let's get it.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody knows.
least.
Yeah, I feel like everybody knows Cruz Montana, New York City, Puerto Rican, right? But I feel like, would you call yourself a sneakerhead? Because every time I see you, you got a fresh pair of Jordans on. You don't want nobody touching the Jordan. Don't come near me. Don't step on my sneaker. So is Cruz Montana a sneakerhead?
There's a big important thing at Complex, so please elaborate on it.
100%.
Yeah.
I grew up a poor kid in the projects, right? Like, my mother didn't have money to get me sneakers or anything like that, right? There was times that I had to share sneakers with my little brother, you know? So, but of course, being from New York City, that's always been part of our culture. That's always been something that's ingrained in us. So definitely growing up and going to public school in New York City, like, you know what I mean? Everybody had the fresh kicks. First day of school, everybody's checking out each other's feet. And but yeah, definitely I consider myself a sneakerhead. I always try to make sure I have a different pair on every day. Like, I still have pairs that are in the box that I haven't even touched, that I've had for months, right? But yeah, I remember the first time I did Subway Mania. What was the first thing that I said when I got on the train?
You said, yo, nobody touch my... He said, nobody step on my sneakers or someone will beat y'all up.
I was like, first of all, like, I'm a nice guy. You on my kicks, we got beef, B.
Wow.
What's your favorite pair of Jordans, though?
Damn. Damn, I got multiple. I love threes. I got mad fours. I love 12s. Like, it varies depending on how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? I also love, like, because for me, when I was coming up and going to high school and stuff like that, I always called them the I'll stomp you out sneakers, which are foam posits. So,
oh wow,
like, everybody, all of us from the hood, like, we all had a pair of foam posits, and we would wear them until they looking beat, right? Because most of the time we always fighting in them. So, but yeah, man, like, I switch up here and there.
Yeah.
Speaking of what Tim was just talking about in terms of where you're from, you come from a rich culture, rich background, especially lately. I mean, there's always been Puerto Rican presence in professional wrestling across the board, but with WWE specifically, recently there's been a big influx of that. I'd say more so than any time in the past. There's a lot of representation in wrestling, I think, is very important. A lot of young kids want to see themselves on screen. Do you feel that, is that something that you carry with you, that yes, I want to be the NXT champion. Yes, I want to succeed in this business, but I want to make sure, I mean, your logo behind you, you want to make sure people know where you're coming from and whatnot. You want your story to be known. Is that important to you?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been on the forefront of my career since the very beginning. Like, looking back at some of my early promo pictures that I took when I was 17, 18 years old, I got a Puerto Rican flag on. And that's always been something that I've always wanted to represent. My roots and my culture has always been ingrained in me from the very beginning by my grandparents. I grew up going back and forth to Puerto Rico every year. And also, it's a huge reason also why I still live in the Bronx. You know what I mean? I want kids from where I come from to be able to say, like, yo, this dude, I get to see him on my TV and I get to see him at Target, walking around.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's dope.
I love it. And I love, like, even when I take the subway and I head downtown or I'm walking through the projects or whatever, like, it's crazy because guys always see me that I grew up with or that know me, and they're like, yo, it's a beautiful thing that, like, we could see you going around the world, living your dream, doing all these things, and you still on the block, and you still come back, and you could still walk the same streets that you came up on. You know what I mean? And not a lot of people could say that, and not a lot of people get to say that. And I take a lot of pride in that. And yeah, man, like at the end of the day, I've always said that I want to use this platform that I have to be able to help people. Like I always said, if I didn't get into pro wrestling, I wanted to do something that was going to help people. And I finally learned that professional wrestling is my way of doing that, especially being a poor Puerto Rican kid from the projects and growing up with nothing. You know what I mean? The fact that I got to build this thing and represent my people and my culture and my city, like these are all things that I carry on my back everywhere that I go. And I'm thankful that I get to do it. And I'm going to continue doing it, man. Like, again, when I'm around in the city or just anywhere, you know what I mean? Like, and I get recognized and people are like, yo, you're a real one. You stay true to yourself. And that to me means the world. You know?
I mean, that's actually really interesting. I was talking to Tim before we had you on, and I was wondering, and you're not going to Disney World every weekend, not like the rest of these kids. Like you're still on the block. So that's that's actually really cool. You know, like you mentioned, it's when there's a really thin line between what's on TV versus reality, it really makes it all that more impactful. So
Right.
that's dope to me.
Yeah, and like again, and it's a huge thing. Like Tim knows where I live, and the fact that like I live in a nice building, I have a nice place to live, right? But you go a block away, 2 blocks away, we in the gutter. You know what I mean? And the fact that my daughter, like, it's very important for me that my daughter sees that.
Yeah.
And she sees like, look, learn and appreciate how you live, because we walk outside and it could be totally different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the same thing with her being in school is like, not everyone gets to live the life that you live. And I always stress appreciation and staying humble and making sure that, you know, she helps the next person. You know, so yeah,
that's dope.
Oh, dope, man. I want to say it feels like we're entering a new era of NXT. You know, we got we saw Zilla make his debut yesterday at NXT. What would you say makes this era of NXT different than the past eras of NXT?
Man, I think NXT is about to get crazy.
Yeah.
Like
say the least.
I'll say it straight up. Like NXT is about to, like, I think the last few weeks we put a shot in the arm and we ready to go. And I think being part of that and being on the forefront of that is a huge deal to me. And I want to bring this brand back to its glory days and what it used to be. You know what I mean? And not saying that the young guys and girls here haven't been putting in work, because they have. You know, there's no shot on them. Like they've been doing their thing, but now with more experienced people coming in and more fresh faces and stuff like that, like we're about to see a totally different NXT, and it's gonna get rowdy, and everybody's gonna have to step the hell up. Like that's one thing that, like, and I'm not gonna say it, I'm gonna show it. Every time that I step in front of that camera, like, that's my way of telling this whole roster, y'all better step up. Step up or step out. You know what I mean? So, like, I you know, if you ain't here to put your all into it, and I'll say this to anybody, if you in this system and you ain't giving your heart and soul and life to this, what are you doing? You're wasting your time.
I'm gonna put my own like fantasy booker hat on right now, just for my own fun and games real quick. So obviously there's a lot of dream matches now that you're part of the system that people have, I'm sure, that they logged away. But one that I think would be really cool, and I wanted to hear your take on this, is because I kind of see parallels between your guys' careers. And I mean, obviously different character, different like presentation all the way, but you and Nuraku kind of like, it's I kind of see in terms of like the long road to get here. You guys have faced the who's who in a lot of this business, like some legends, some Hall of Famers, right. Both of you. And but you know, just different ends of the world. But I think for some reason that could make for a really, really good pairing between you two. Is that someone that you have your eye on? 100%.
100%. Like you said, he's there's a lot of parallels, right?
Mhm.
Like he's put in the work on the other side of the world, and I did it on this side, and I mean, like, we have that main event experience.
Yeah.
Right, working with the top of the game, and I think just us clashing and bringing that experience, and you know, he likes to hit hard, I like to hit hard.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I love it, and I look forward to it, and I'm sure we're gonna mix it up for sure.
I'll be looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Grayson Waller said some things about you probably like a couple weeks ago. He said some things about you. Did you take any of those things like personal? Was there anything that you was like, you know, that is stuck with you, that bothered you?
I wouldn't say. I think the only thing that I took personal was him trying to play TNA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for me, I carry TNA with a lot of pride, and I was part of, you know, the reason why TNA is in the position that we're in today. So I put in a lot of work over there, and the lineage that world title holds and has, like, I mean, a who's who, Hall of Famers from the beginning to when I held it, man, like crazy. So for him to try to play that legacy and try to play that lineage or whatever, like, come on, like he's just tight that he hasn't even come close to anything like that. And that's how I took it. It was more of like, this dude was a hater. You know what I mean? Like, you're a hater straight up. Like, and you know what happens to haters.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta
get clipped.
Yeah.
It seemed like a clear path for you before Zilla showed up, and now it's definitely a little murky. There's a lot of sharks in the water right now. So I obviously it would be unwise of you to tell us exactly what your plan is going forward here. You know, you got to keep these guys guessing, but you know, it's different now, and there's a lot more people that you got to worry about. How are you going to get how you going to get back into this at least number one contendership, let alone a title shot?
I'm not like backing down from it, not one bit, man. Like I thrive in these situations. Like I always say, I thrive in the trenches. I live in the pressure. Like I've been in these situations before, and I've always come out clean on the other side. Like if anything, I prefer it this way. I don't want anything easy. I prefer it this way. I prefer to go against, you know, guys who, let's see if you want it more than me. Let's see if you're hungrier than me. Let's see if you have as much passion as I do. And if you do, obviously you're going to get to where you need to get to. But I can almost guarantee that y'all ain't fighting with the same heart and the same fire that I'm fighting with. Like, I have too many people depending on me. I have too many mouths to feed. I have too many people that I need to make proud. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. That's how I live every day. So if you ain't got that, pobrecito. Straight up. If you ain't got that, pobrecito. And I say that with all the pride and all the confidence in the world. Like, if you ain't bringing that fire, I'm gonna burn you up. It is what it is.
If you ain't cooking, get out the kitchen, man. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, how has your encounter been with Shawn Michaels now that you're part of NXT? How has that encounter been? I know you must be, you know, coming from New York, you know, we all grew up watching, you know, wrestling as a kid, and now you're being able to work with Shawn Michaels. So how's that?
I mean, Shawn is awesome, man. Just again, a wealth of knowledge. You know, if there's anybody you want to learn from as far as being a top guy and being in a main event role and being, you know, one of those guys that people look at and it's like, yo, he's the guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's arguably one of the best to ever do it. Right. So the opportunity that I was given to come here and to be able to learn from him, like, why wouldn't I take it? You know what I mean? If learning from him and working under him is only going to make me better at the job that I love to do, you know, and the thing with him too is that he could see things that nobody else could see. It's wild. Like, just sitting back and watching him, just his mind go, like, because one thing I pride myself on is that I like to sit back and just observe like my surroundings, my settings, right? So a lot of times when things are going on, I sit back and I just watch everything that's going on and how it's moving, and just to see his mind work is such an interesting thing to me. And cool guy, straightforward, real, which was refreshing for me. One of the very first conversations that we had was, it was straight up and it was real. And he was like, I'm always going to be real with you. And I was like, I'm always going to be real with you, So, the fact that we got that out the way off the bat was a huge deal for me. So, and again, it's weird because I've been doing this a long time. So, and I've worked with a lot of people, especially people that I grew up watching and stuff like that, that like now is like, these are my peers. These are my coworkers. These are people that I'm going to learn from. Right. So I don't come into this thinking, oh my God, it's Shawn Michaels, or, oh my God, it's this person. Or, like, I feel like I left that phase a long time ago, and now it's like, all right, this is someone that I'm working with and someone I'm going to learn from. And that's how it is.
It's a different, just expanding a little bit on what Tim said, because that was a really good question. It's a very, as everybody knows, it's a very different culture in backstage in WWE in terms of the structure, how the business has gone, how the business has worked every single day.
Yeah.
Is it, I just like, people wanted, a lot of people have been curious since, like, you're not green in this by any stretch of the imagination. Your greenness is gone years ago. But how is it like being in this environment where a lot of people are still learning? A lot of people are still getting their teeth wet. I mean, they're cutting their teeth. Getting their teeth wet, cutting their teeth. I don't know if that's a real thing, what I just said, but like when you're not in New York, when you're in Orlando, when you're at the PC, or when you're at or at an NXT taping, when you're not in the ring, what are you doing? Like, what are you? How are you carrying yourself? Are you sitting in on any classes? Are you just being a fly on the wall? We're just curious how you spend your time out there.
I think for me right now, I'm still like, I just got here, like 3 weeks, maybe. I think it's been.
It's been a short time. Yeah.
4 weeks. And right now I've just been in observant mode, like just pretty much taking in the environment and seeing how everything moves and how everyone moves and stuff like that. I like to sit back and just people watch a little bit, see who's who, see how they interact with each other or whatever. And then once I get a sense of that, that's when I'll throw myself into the environment a little more. And but yeah, once a week I'm coming to the PC and I'm training with the guys and trying to build that camaraderie, because I feel like that's very important. And also things like, if there's any knowledge that I can be able to share from my experiences of being in the places that I've been and traveling around the world or whatever, by all means, like, I was always taught to pay it forward. You get nothing by holding on to the knowledge that you got. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm looking at this. Like, right now, I'm one of the most experienced guys here on the roster, and I want to be able to share that experience with the rest of the guys and girls here, especially the ones that are still coming up, And so I'm training with the guys, and when we're here doing shows, I'm always watching all the matches and seeing if there's anything that I could help give feedback with and stuff like that. And and again, like, I want to be able to, I was always taught, like, when you get to the top, make sure that you turn around and reach your hand to the next person, help bring them up, and I live by that. So that's my intentions of being here, is like, I'm gonna get mine.
Yeah,
trust me. I'm gonna always make sure that I eat and that I'm gonna get mine, but also I'm gonna make sure that everyone around me is elevated and we all come up together. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's refreshing to hear that, because like you were talking about, you working with Shawn Michaels, someone you watched growing up. You worked with a lot of people that you watched like when you were coming up in the game, and you're in a unique position right now that some of these kids probably watched you a lot like coming up and stuff like that. So I mean,
not to make me sound so old, but yeah.
But I think that's a special. Like, do you see yourself as time goes on? Like, you seems like you want to give back to this game just as much as it gave you.
Absolutely. This business gave me everything. At the end of the day, it allows me to give my daughter the amazing life that she lives. And if there's anything that I can help give back to it, by all means. That's like I know I have a time limit for my in-ring, right? That's everybody. Yeah, everybody does the job to Father Time.
Yep.
And I know that I want to be able to have a job in this forever. So it's smart on me to learn the other aspects of the business, which I have been, and when the time comes and I need a transition, boom, help continue giving.
That's great.
Awesome. Well, right now, you got this, thing going on with Zillify 2, after last night's attack. Is there any words, because you never know, Zilla could be watching this right now. Is there anything you want to say to Zillify 2 right now?
He probably is.
I hope so. Listen, you a young dude. We come from very similar backgrounds. We know what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I know the fire that you bring in, and I hope and pray that you know the fire that I'm bringing. So we're going to get busy. We're going to get busy. Like, I give you props. I'm going to give you your props. You came in, you made your statement, you got busy. Now it's my turn. And I'm always going to make sure that I'm good, like I said. So I'm going to see him down the road, and we're going to get busy.
A big, we're complex here. We do not just wrestling, we do music, fashion, all that sorts of stuff. And, the hip hop is a big part of our brand. And like one thing we like to ask a lot of our guests is that one of the a fan's like favorite aspect of WrestleMania, for instance, which, one day I'm sure is in your goal to perform at WrestleMania. I mean, if you're not here, then why are you even trying to wrestle at WrestleMania, one aspect of WrestleMania that people love is the custom entrances, like the special entrances, the ones that have like people like like whether it be different presentation, pyro, whatever, but the ones where they have an outside artist play you to the ring. If you on your first WrestleMania and you're given the opportunity to have living, dead, whatever, it doesn't matter, one artist to play you to the ring and play an interpretation of your song or even their own track that you want to come out to. If you had to pick one, who would it be?
Big Pun.
Oh, come on. Easily. I mean,
I was going to tell you the track. Well, you were like, yo, it could be an interpretation.
What track?
Leatherface all day.
Oh, man. I mean, he said it so quickly. He said it's like
he had that in his back pocket.
Yo, when I hear Pun and he's like, yo, like in the club, hardcore, like when he comes on and he's just like, yo, I'll run through a wall, B. Like, I'm like Pun has always been someone that I looked up to, and I because he was one of the guys that again made it and stood on the block. He stood in the Bronx. You know what I mean? Like, I passed the house that he used to live in every day. You know what I mean? So Pun has always been someone that like was very, very special to me in my life. So that would definitely be number one.
I mean, now with all these, there's all this Puerto Rican talent out right now. If I can only if Pun was still here, like how crazy, because he was a fan.
That would have been.
Man, I'll never forget WrestleMania 15. Him at what was it? It was at damn, where was it 15 or was
I think it was 14. I think it was 14. No, because
because it was right after
it was the after party, right? It sounded like that.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was either 15 or 14. Yeah, because I know 14 had meth there, and he had Method Man was there. But it was one of those two. Yeah, and he was
Shane McMahon was rocking.
He was out there. Yeah. He was out there. But it just would have been
a big soul, bro.
Yeah,
yeah.
It would have been dope seeing him. Like he would have been involved somehow.
Hell yeah.
I would say, Cruz, you're in the wrestling world, like big pun in the wrestling world. You get what I'm saying? As a wrestler, you know what I mean? Like if you could put rappers as wrestlers, I would say Cruz Montana is the big puns version.
And I take
wrestling.
all the pride in the world in that.
Yeah, man.
100%. I wouldn't have it any other way.
So Cruz, we only have you for a little more, so I'm just going to get you one more question before we let you go. And thank you again for the time, man.
Thank you, bro.
When we found out you were available for the show, and you made such a big splash on your debut, and you're just your accolades speak for itself. It's a long time coming, but we're glad that you're finally here on the big time, so to speak. And so. Next week, NXT. It's a different every day. It's a different world, Yeah. And what can we like? But for the new, your news, like you said, you're only here 3 weeks. It's a question our one of our co-hosts who's not here right now, but I'm going to ask it for him. Mm-hmm. Our complex audience, people who are only really familiar with WWE, if they want to go back and look up your pedigree, your history, and they want to get a good taste of Cruz Montana, what would be one match that you would suggest? That like gives them like, okay, that's who that dude is right there.
Ooh.
Good question.
Yeah, that was good. I'd honestly have to say go back and watch the feud I had with Mustafa Ali in TNA.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that story.
That's a good one.
That was a real story.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, that was real. And then aside from the matches, but just the story that we were telling. And it hit home, and it was something very personal to me. And I put a lot into that, as far as myself and my personal life and stuff like that. It's been no secret that I've been very open about my struggles with addiction and getting clean and stuff like that. So, I think if I had to choose one off the top, I think it'd go back and watch that series that we had.
Mustafa Ali brings out the greatness in a lot of people when he gets in the ring with them. So I co-sign that one 1,000%.
Yeah,
you guys brought out the weapons and everything. That was
crazy. Even the first match we had in El Paso, I think it was at Sacrifice or something. But like that, even that first match was like. We were going, the crowd was insane. We were going at each other's throats, man. But yeah. And then the one we had later on with the false count and the weapons and all the craziness or whatever. But yeah, man, just a lot of the promos we did, a lot of the just everything. Production was so on point with everything, and him and I, we legit sat down and like really put a lot of thought into this, and the way it was shot, and the way just everything. It was very meticulous, because for me, I told him in the beginning, I told everyone, I sat everyone down, and I'll give you guys a little insider. I sat everyone down before we started filming anything, and I was like, listen, this is something that's very, very serious to me. Like, if we're going to use this and we're going to really go all in on this, like, we're going to do it right, and I have a lot of respect for the recovery community, and this is part of my life. So, and everyone was on board, and everyone did an amazing job, and we told a hell of a story, and we made magic,
Great choice, man. Well, Cruz, we loved having you, man. This is I always like to tell that there's always the book of whoever talent we have on here. There's so many more pages to be told, but you've opened up a whole new, not even just new chapter. You're a whole new like sequel, like edition, like
the book. I'm
a whole other book,
right?
Man.
A whole nother.
Yeah.
So
I feel crazy because I was talking to a friend recently, and I was like, man, I feel like I've lived 3-4 lives. It's
crazy,
wild,
bro.
And like it's crazy, but
yeah, it's a blessing.
We're excited. We're excited to see what you got coming into NXT and then the future. I mean, like you're just getting started, man, and it's going to be a fun ride. So we just can't wait, man. Thank you for joining us, and we as down the line as more things happen, we want to get you back in here and compare notes to how you're talking now versus how you're talking with a little more, maybe some gold. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do it, man. And thank you guys for having me. And I love the show. I love what you guys are doing, and keep doing it and killing it, man. And we'll definitely see each other down the line.
My man.
Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for everything, bro.
Yeah, always. Thank you guys, man.
That was great.
I mean, that's a good talent to have on here. I'm really happy that we had
Yeah.
Mr. Santana. No French.
Cruz Montana. Cruz Montana, Jamie.
No French. But yeah, it's I mean, storied career. I mean, he speaks for itself. He's been everywhere and has faced almost everybody, and like before you could finally get in the bubble of the WWE. So I'm really excited to see what he's got. I mean, he's a superstar.
Even with NXT. Yeah, even with NXT, like I feel like just you could feel the shift change, with these past couple of weeks, especially with last night with Zilla Fatu making his debut. I feel like this shift to NXT is gonna be awesome.
So like before we get into it, I'm just gonna cap off what you just said. Montana came in with he just exudes superstar. He's got the look, he's got the talent. Big things are going to happen for this guy in the main and NXT and then the main roster, in my opinion. I know you agree with me. He's a good person to keep an eye on. But let's get into it. Tim, you've been chiming this bell since the show started. I think you've been really running for this. And it's been on the lips for a lot of people before they finally pulled the trigger. Will it happen? Won't it happen? Will they with his history, with all these people in his family already here, will this indeed happen? And last night it happened. I mean, he didn't get signed last night. Apparently he got signed a little bit earlier in the month, or like in the summer, but Zilla Fatu is part of NXT, is part of the WWE family. Tim, I know you're very, very happy about that.
Yeah, no, it's dope, man. Like I've been seeing, Zilla, even Cruz Montana in the indies for years, and seeing I think it's cool seeing the grind, from when they first start, and now they're in a NXT, and I'm honestly surprised that Zilla attacked Montana. Like the whole arena popped, and that's a small arena for NXT comparing it to like a Raw or SmackDown, but that whole arena was screaming. But yeah, man, I think it was interesting too that like, for a while now, it's like, yo, is Zilla gonna debut? Is he not? I don't think he's gonna debut. And seeing it finally, they finally pulling the trigger on him was great, man. I think it was a great debut. Definitely broke the wrestling internet for sure.
It did. It was a huge moment, and I always knew it would be. Where I want to see, I mean, where I'm at right now is, obviously happy for Zilla. He's had his history. Excuse me. I wasn't trying to be dramatic about that. I literally was just choking on myself. But I he's worked his way up, and from his past to where he's at now. And I'm happy for him. He's, hard work pays off, and they definitely see the talent that he has. What I do want to see now is where this goes. Everybody can make a great debut, and but we're in a world right now. It's like I discussed with this with you last night, Tim. We're in a world right now where this version of Zilla, the one that we've seen on the indies for so many years, whether it be Fourth Rope or all these other places he's been, it's not the same, but it's very similar to a lot of people that are in the company right now, whether you got your Jacobs and you got the Usos, and he carries himself much like his father, which he should, but he also carries himself a little similar to like Jacob, for instance. A lot of he's hip. He's got like he's got the fresh gear on. He's got the swag, but he can turn on that beast when he needs to. I'm just curious to see how it's going to be different. We've seen people are already starting to show a little bit of bloodline fatigue, right?
Yeah.
And I just hope that he's able to differentiate himself in a way that doesn't add to that, if that makes sense. He's not going to join the bloodline and go to Raw tomorrow. You know, he's going to have some time in NXT to make his own name, but I just hope to see it's a little different. I want to see the presentation just to be like, what makes you a different guy in the bloodline or just another soldier, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it. I think it's already, you know, them already putting him in NXT is a good start, you know, because I think, again, like him just going straight to the main roster, Raw,
That would have
SmackDown,
been
and joining, you know, him joining the Bloodline or the MFTs, or, you know, I think that it just would have been, you know, people would have probably saw that as another Bloodline member. But I think him making his debut in NXT is like, okay, he's part of the Bloodline, you know, family wise, but he's Zilla Fatu, and you know, let's hope and you know, we can only hope from here that it goes well. And I think Bully said it too this morning, Bully Ray. You know, hopefully he keeps his attitude and everything on check, and you know, it's only up from here.
Yeah, they let him keep his name too. You know, WWE does not like to do that, like every so often. So it's clear that the WWE wants, by having him keep his name, it's clear that they want the connection. It's clear that they want people to know, as opposed to like he's his own person. Like Solo, for instance. When Solo first debuted on the NXT roster, you know, he's Solo Sikoa. He's not Solo Fatu, you know, he's not anything related to the Anoa'i name. I think they really tried to make him his own guy. He was the street something. I forgot what he was, but but like, you know what I'm saying? It's interesting to see that with Solo, they eventually put him in there, but like when he was in NXT, they gave him his own little character. But with Zilla,
I think it'll be Zilla, just straight Zilla. I think that, you know, that sounds like a WWE thing. Just instead of Zilla Fatu, just Zilla. But I mean, you know, Jacob Fatu kept his name. But then people like, you know, Cruz Montana changed his. So, you know, let's see what happens. But the crowd was chanting Fatu crazy. So
yeah, maybe
they might just have to keep that, you know.
There was a great meme this morning I woke up to of LA Knight, just like every time WWE signs another member of the Bloodline family, just him getting more and more and more upset. It's rough out here. It's rough out here for LA Knight, man, and all these guys, man. Like,
we gotta make a bet. Like, is LA Knight next week on Raw gonna make a comment? Like, or is he gonna throw some type of shade at whoever for the Zilla Fatu debut?
It's good.
Like, you know, he'll probably say something funny.
Now that, I mean,
we'll get into another one of your cousins. Yeah.
I mean, and there's more. You know what's crazy is there's still more. Like, we thought, okay, they have them all. They have every single member. Nope. There's still some unspoken for Fatu or Anoa'i members that are out there in the wild that WWE could still sign. So eventually they could just.
The Samoan dynasty, I think. Well, no, I mean, not even think. I mean, I would say is the most successful family in wrestling history. I mean, you know, you got the Harts, the Von Erichs, you know, the Samoan family, the McMahons. I mean, the Harts, you know what I mean? I mean,
all those other families that enjoyed success for sure, but there was always just the one. There was the ones that like did it, you know, as well, like the brothers as well, or the cousins that like they had a level of success. But you know, like with the Harts, it was Brett. You know, Brett was the guy. You know, and with the Von Erichs, you know, the guy, whoever the guy was always cycled because of injuries and deaths and stuff like that. And you know, they only in terms of the WWE success, only one of them really enjoyed real any sort of success in the WWE. But I'd say in terms of across the board success, you know, I mean, with Jacob's crushing it, Jay's crushing it, you know, Roman, he's a fun topic on the internet right now, to say the least.
Man, Roman's been going viral.
Roman's been going viral. And you know what? Should we throw our hats in the ring on this one? Should we throw our input in?
I say let's do it. Let's do it.
Of course we got SmackDown and Raw to get to, but I think this is important. You know, this is a big topic in the world of wrestling right now, and let's just get out there and say it. You know, friend of the show, Conrad Thompson, went on his podcast, one of his shows recently. I think it was either with Bischoff or Jarrett. I forget which one, or even with JR.
I think it was with Bischoff.
With Bischoff, and he said, in case our people at Complex didn't miss this one, I'm paraphrasing. Please don't like jump down my throat for misquoting, but I'm going to give you the general gist of it. Was that he called Roman overrated, essentially the most overrated main eventer in WWE history, and he had some points to back this up, which were that yes, he's had more main events than anybody in WWE and WrestleMania than anybody in WWE history. And that may be true, but for the first half of them, he was getting booed out of the building, which that is true. He was, and he didn't find his real Roman success until he was paired with Paul Heyman. And Conrad and other people who agree with Conrad, I'm not saying if I agree with him or not. This is a man's opinion. I will say if I agree with him or not. But at this point, his supporters are saying yes. He is always the way he's always succeeded is he's needed something. He's needed the bloodline. He's needed Heyman. He's needed support, and that's why he's never on the level of Austin, as Hogan, as Cena. You know, and it's a tricky topic because I see where he's coming from, and Conrad is a friend, and I love what he does. I think he's got a great show. They call him the Podfather. You know, he made wrestling podcasts important, in my opinion, and you know, I see some parts of it that I agree with, and I see some parts that I don't. Was he booed for the first 4 or 5 main events that he was in WrestleMania? Yeah, heavily. Like where there was so much where they put Triple H in the main event against him, and they thought, okay, there's no way they'll boo him now, and they did. And and you can't argue the timing of when he finally got to be the tribal chief was when he was paired with Paul Heyman. But I don't know if that wouldn't have happened if Paul wasn't there. And what I'm saying is that I do think Roman would have found himself eventually. I just think I don't know if it was so much of as a result of putting him with Heyman that did it, but I think it was the result of Vince finally saying, okay, I'm kind of taking a step back from making you say all this goofy shit. You just do what you do. But I don't know. It's there's a little bit from column A that I agree with, and there's a little bit of column B that I disagree with. What do you think, Tim?
I could see the, you know, those claims, you know, I could see where he's coming from, but you know, I also feel like what you're saying too, like Roman, I think Roman eventually would have found himself. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, it takes time. I mean, especially coming out of the Shield, and remember Vince was putting these different storylines, like him with the dog food and everything. So it's like, you know, I'm sure Roman Reigns
they gave him blue contact lenses, like
blue contact. So it's like, you know, that's tough. But I feel like with all of that, Roman Reigns bounced back. You know what I mean? And again, even if he was paired with Paul Heyman, they could have still booed him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but the way he executed it, the way he took on the role as the tribal chief, the promos. Remember in the beginning, his promos weren't good. At least for me, I didn't enjoy it. Yeah.
Oh, you mean the initial tribal chief promos? No,
in the beginning, like when he was when he first started, like 20.
When he was the big dog.
The big dog, yeah, like 20.
Suffering
his
succotash
promos weren't good. Yeah, so it's like, you know, he improved with the promos. You know, the bloodline storyline was good, you know, so I think, you know, can't say that was all Paul Heyman, because it's obviously Roman Reigns playing the character, you know, he's playing the character, and you know, it's part of his blood, it's literally part of his bloodline, you know what I mean? So, so I could see where he's coming from. I could see that, but But I mean, Roman's been holding it down. All the main events, since being part of the bloodline, they're all, for the most part, they've been holding it down. I mean, who else? You know what I mean? We was just talking about this. Who else? You even asked Triple H this question, JV. One of the last questions of the press conference. I mean, realistically,
maybe ever.
If it wasn't Roman Reigns, if it wasn't Roman Reigns main eventing, or let's say Seth Rollins, CM Punk, whatever. Like, realistically, who else? To carry a WrestleMania.
And I think in terms of Paul Heyman being like the secret sauce, he's like the cheat code for someone getting over. It's been proven in the past that, even just because you put yourself with Paul Heyman, it doesn't mean automatic success. I mean, we have like stories like Curtis Axel, that didn't work out. Ryback, that didn't work out. And I think I don't think just putting, you could argue whether or not Paul Heyman being with the Vision worked, like that's like, the jury's still out on that one, he's not even part of the group anymore. But it's like you said, Paul Heyman definitely, he helped like that shot. That's one of the greatest shots in wrestling history is when Roman came back and beat the Fiend for the title. And it wasn't when he did come back, but I don't know if he beat him that night, but he did come back and he was sitting backstage. And he turns to his side and Paul Heyman's sitting next to him. It was during the COVID era. Mm-hmm. Like that was a hard ass shot. Like that was like, whoa, bam. That's not to quote Jay, but like that was a warning shot, right?
But bro, even the COVID era, like again, who else? Like that whole storyline, COVID on their backs, was carrying the entire those years. Yeah, exactly. Like who else? So I could understand, it being, overrated, people saying overrated, but I mean, warning shot, man. Bow.
And but yeah, I also think it's too early to tell, I mean, you're comparing him to all these other guys whose careers are over, their books are closed. And it's I think Roman, especially the frequency that he wrestles in, he could still go for like 10 more years after this. But it's like I said, you
saw too, the people sorry to cut you off, but people the people like the younger generation, they're saying that Roman Reigns is bigger than Hulk Hogan. And I'm like they were commenting after what Conrad said, and they're like, oh, way, like he's even bigger than Hulk Hogan. And I'm like, all right, hold on,
we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, like
I'm like, that's crazy.
Everybody has their detractors about Hogan, and like for right or for wrong, it's you have your opinion on the guy, but you got to talk about global impact, and not just wrestling global impact, multimedia global impact. Hogan was the first wrestler on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Hulk Hogan was the first wrestler to be in a mainstream blockbuster movie. He wasn't the first wrestler to be in a movie, but like Rocky, come on, like he was in Rocky. Like,
bro, even my grandma knows who Hulk Hogan is, and my grandma doesn't really understand. She don't even speak English, bro. So
to this day, to this day, if you tell someone like, oh, I watch wrestling, they say, oh, you mean that shit Hulk Hogan does? To this day, people still do that. And
that's crazy, right?
But that's not who we're here to talk about. But I thought, that's it. I don't think, as is wrestling, I think it's all subjective, and it's all like nobody's right or wrong.
Interesting takes, right? Yeah. Interesting takes the wrestling community has. It's beautiful.
There was some more fun other topics, but I don't think we need to get into them. But we don't need to talk about who needs to set up the ring and whatnot. Like, Jesus Christ. But
I ain't gonna lie, that was wow, right? What a week. What a week. The week of takes, bro. I forgot about that. Wow, that's what a week, man. What a week.
We also had an update in terms of news. We had an update from Rhea Ripley. And she posted a picture of herself post-surgery, of her leg specifically. And she's got a long road of recovery ahead of her, and it's unfortunate that we're probably not going to see Miss Ripley on our TV for quite some time. The comeback going to be crazy. Comeback's going to be nuts. She will be back, probably stronger than ever, which is a hard thing to do considering how strong she is already. But you know, it's going to be, it's when you have such a major player in the company go down, it's you miss them, and we're going to miss her on our television. I could say at least.
She needs to come back at a show at Madison Square Garden, man, so that way she could have that same Triple H pop.
I think it should be a new rule that when you come back from injury, if it's longer than 8 months or a year, you need to have the uniform of
denim on
denim, the leather jacket under the denim jacket.
denim.
Yeah. And yeah, so as quick as and safely as possible. Hopefully the best for Miss Ripley. We hope to see you again soon. Also, Complex Graps are rooting for you. But let's get into the show. There's some interesting talking points coming from SmackDown and Raw from last week and last night. 2 nights ago. And so we kicked off with that's how the show started. The show started with Cody, but we eventually got to the first face-off of the new #1 contender for the WWE Championship. That is Kevin Owens, returning from SummerSlam. And he is #1 contender to CM Punk's WWE champion. And I was very interested in this promo because it was a cool little thing that they started the first few minutes of the promo not using the microphone. Like, you know how you noticed that? Like, that was interesting to me, that like they were just like talking and then like people were like trying to like listen in on the TV, like, what are they saying to each other? Like, what, like, and then finally they started talking on the mic. And I was so surprised to see, like, off top, Kevin Owens was just going down Punk's throat. Pause. But like, that sounds crazy.
No, I'm looking at it right now, like, just, you know, and I'm like, bro, they were really like right here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like see what they were trying to understand what they were saying,
but yeah,
sheesh.
But there was heat immediately, and especially on Kevin Owens' side. And I was like texting my other friends, I was like, what did he do? Why is he popping off so quickly? He's so mad already. And I think, you know, I guess there's been heat from legit heat from the past. And you know, there's talks online of a encounter that Kevin Owens and CM Punk had in 2005, I think it was, in Ring of Honor, which I don't think WWE is going to ask the fans to do that much homework to figure out why they're beefing. But what'd you think of this segment, Tim?
No, I mean, I think it was very personal. You could feel the tension through the screen. You know what I mean? I'm looking back at it right now, trying to see like what was Kevin Owens saying, you know, when they didn't have the mic on. But you could tell that it's something personal. And I know from what you just said, it was something from Ring of Honor. I wasn't watching it at the time.
No, you definitely were.
You know what I mean? But looking at it now, apparently there was like a t-shirt incident, you know, a miscommunicated joke. These are like things that they're saying on Reddit. And then it says Owens has openly stated they are not friends and never talk unless required for work. So whenever you see storylines like this, you already know the match and the story is gonna be a banger.
I'm hyped for this one, man. This is one of the pairings that I've been looking forward to for quite some time, especially since Punk came back. Because they had a little, when Punk first came back, they had a little like interaction backstage, but nothing, like, it was very much in passing. But there was definitely they didn't dap each other up, they didn't hug or anything. It was just sort of like, all right, hi. But now we see, but straight up, Kevin Owens said, I see through you. I see through you that everybody says this is a new Punk. He's changed. He's more, he's easier to deal with, and he's got a better outlook on the business. Owens has always been someone that once you give him that first impression, it's hard to change it. He's always been that guy that's like, I know who you are. You're not fooling me, with not just with Punk, for a lot of his previous opponents. And I just off that first initial face off alone, I'm really excited from it. I'm really excited about it. And if they could bring up some stuff, there's so much, if they do bring up this stuff from Ring of Honor, this real heat that they had, I hope they do.
Punk, I feel like Punk just, even if they tell him not to, I feel like Punk will just still, you know what, I'm gonna say something, and then that'll trigger Kevin to be like, hold on, fuck out of here, what you know, why are you saying that for? So I think things are gonna get personal. You know, let's just hope that they continue to keep things professional.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see brawls. I want to see, talking smack. I want to see the low blows. I want to see it all. And I feel like this is going to be a good rivalry.
I do too. Before we move on to the rest of the show, we forgot to get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. First off, to mention, in case you already this late into the show haven't noticed, our co-host Ben is not here right now. He is currently in Asia covering a lot of stuff for Complex right now, and he really wanted to be here, but the internet was just not going to allow for it, and his flight connections and whatnot. So it's just like how it started, me and Tim just talking to each other back and forth. And so Ben, I'm sure, will join us next week. Be safe out there, Ben. We need you back here.
Be safe, bro.
And also we got to plug this incredible two collections that we've been having on Complex. Like, it's been gangbusters. The sales have been going through the roof. I see people rocking it on the streets. I see people rocking it on the shows. And that is the Complex WWE ECW drop that dropped during SummerSlam weekend. And also the Ken Carson Complex WWE drop that is doing incredibly well. I've seen a lot of Ken Carson Oba Femi t-shirts out there at SummerSlam weekend. Both these collections are great. There's still stock left. There's some great designs of featuring people like Danhausen, Sandman, the Dudley Boys, Rob Van Dam, Oba Femi, who Oba Femi, Bam Bam Bigelow, CM Punk, Randy Orton. It's a who's who in the past and present of wrestling, and it's all available on Complex Shop, WWE Shop, or wherever you get your WWE products. It's pretty dope. I mean, it's one of the better ones better projects we've ever done. So definitely go get that while you can. I'm sorry, I had to make sure we did that, or else our people in the studio were going to get mad at me. This next one, this next topic sucks. This next topic really bums me the fuck out. And our last guest who we had before, our last week's guest, Chelsea Green, the new I don't know how much longer we're going to call her interim because of what's going on with Rhea Ripley, but now it's the current champion is hurt as well. In a match where we had Chelsea Green team up with Tiffany Stratton, go up against Fatal Influence. The match ended with a run-in between Nia Jax and Lash Legend, and at some point in the match, it hasn't been clarified what part, and honestly, I don't think it really matters. It's because this is wrestling. There's nobody at fault here. Nobody's trying to hurt anybody. But long story short, our current champion has a broken orbital, which from what I understand, from anybody who I've ever heard, has broken their face essentially. That is a brutal injury. You can't put a cast on that. You can't it just has to heal on itself. And, simple things as bad as such as being in bed and rolling over onto your side. And that just sounds agonizing. And the jury is still out. We still don't have an answer as to what's going on with Chelsea. Is she going to be out? Is she going to have to vacate the title? We don't know. We don't know the extent. She went into a doctor's office yesterday. She posted to get more of an idea of what the damage is. And we don't have an answer yet. And I'm sure we'll get one soon. But I know we speak for both of us, Tim, that, this is not the news we want to hear.
Yeah, man, this sucks because I feel like her finally winning the WWE championship, it was very wholesome, very emotional. I mean, we saw the footage, even Matt Cardona was tearing up. And it's like, we could only imagine, like, finally, like, you worked this hard, your career for 10 plus years. You finally win the strap, you win the championship, and then boom, an injury. So, I just hope that, something, maybe she could heal really quick, or, maybe wrestle with a face mat. I don't know, just something. But I feel like I really, I know both of us here, all of us here at Complex, like, we just want her to truly, have a complete, successful WWE Women's Championship reign. So we all wishing Chelsea Green a speedy recovery.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because, like, even she said so when she revealed her injury on her social media that, in her career, if she didn't have bad luck, she wouldn't have any luck at all. And we know that, Chelsea has had her share of, she's right there, injury, right there, injury,
Yep.
right? And it sucks so much because you're hoping that like, all right, this is in the like we're good now. She's had her share of injuries. She doesn't need any more injuries in her life. And now it's at this time, your first match as not your first title defense, your first match, and it's a tag team match. You know, you could kind of share the load on that. And it's just the timing and the luck. It kills me. And we love Chelsea on this show, and I'm just crossing my fingers that if it is something that she needs to be out of the ring, at least for a few weeks, keep her on the show still, man. Just like, come on, just keep her coming. You know, she was in a wheelchair on TV for a while. If she couldn't even walk and she was still on TV, keep her on the channel, man. This isn't a torn ACL. This isn't I'm not trying to diminish this injury by any stretch of the imagination. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying.
She could to still keep her on the show, because I mean, listen, like Liv Morgan has been champion, and she just
for
makes the
100 days
appearances. She makes the title fun, you know, like more so like, I guess, you know, I mean, I know people are gonna disagree with that, you know, like, oh, she should be, you know, wrestling and stuff like that, which I do understand, but I feel like Chelsea could just, you know, just show up every now and then. You know what I mean? Make those appearances until she fully heals, and then, you know, then show up. But
I think a great example of what they could do with her, and it's something that I always think anybody who ever gets injured who could still walk and who could still kind of do a little bit is Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, when Stone Cold Steve Austin broke his neck and couldn't wrestle for like 6 months, he was still on TV, cutting promos, giving stunners to people and stuff. And a lot of people think that a lot of the best in-ring mic work that Steve ever did was during that period where he actually couldn't bump, but he was still there every week. He was still cutting promos. He was still like doing beer stuff. And like, I think Chelsea's the kind of character that, you know, she could easily do that. She's a good enough character where she could be on TV every week, still being silly Chelsea, and people will still tune in and buy the product. So, you know, I think they should, but we will see. Hopefully sooner than later.
I have faith.
We have so as another result of SummerSlam, we have another program of Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton on our hands, and it's interesting. This one is not for anything really. You know, even in the promo, Cody said he is not being restrained by being the golden boy of the company. He doesn't have the championship. This isn't for a championship. This is just for Randy Orton not particularly being fond of Cody Rhodes right now. And I just it's interesting. It's still too early to tell. There's a lot of people who, you know, every time Randy's in the ring, they love it. And Cody and Randy go really well together. But at the same time, it's something that we've seen already and not that long ago. And we thought the story was told, you know, we thought the story, like what we thought that the story was over, and it's clearly not. And I think Cody showed a lot of fire in this promo against Randy, but I don't know, Tim, what do you, are you excited for this? Another go around with this?
Let me see how I put. So when Randy showed up, you know, at SummerSlam, you know, Jamie, you know, me and you, we was excited, you know, we was jumping for joy and stuff, you know, but I think it's like in the moment, it was nice. It was cool to see Randy back because, you know, we all love Randy. You know what I mean? When Randy's back, when Randy's active in the roster, it's always fun. You know what I mean?
Yes.
From his theme song to the, you know, hearing voices in his head to the RKOs, you know, all of that. But now we're here. It's not clear as of right now where they're going to be going with this storyline, because these guys already had, you know, like you just said, Cody already finished that kind of like story with Randy, but only time could tell. I mean, am I excited? I feel like I'm not as excited as to when they first announced the match at WrestleMania, you know. So it's kind of like, all right, this is like round two, like, you know, part two, how are things going to be different? I'm not going to underestimate it because, you know, Cody and Randy, you know, they're how do you say it? They're pretty much, they know what they're doing, but I just, you know, I don't see it right now, but I'm not gonna underestimate it.
Yeah, I mean, they go really well together, and maybe this is a way, because there was a lot of detractors even before the match started of their match at WrestleMania last year, and there was involvement with Pat McAfee, Jelly Roll, and and all that, and the match itself was what it was, and people thought it was all that. There's all this nonsense that didn't need to be there, and then I think this is a way for Randy and Cody to be like, okay, let's have a real one without all these bells and whistles, without all the outside nonsense, and let's actually show them let's actually show them what we could do, which I'm all for that. But I'm going to need, in terms of the build and the story and like how we're going to get there, whenever we're going to get there, I'm going to need a little more than that. I'm going to need a little more than, I'm Randy. I hear the voices in my head now, and they're telling me I don't like you. And they're, but I like, we already got that. We know, Randy, we know that you're crazy.
And no more Jelly Roll, man. That was, it was to a point where we was like, the Jelly Roll buzzer.
Yeah, I feel bad because even Jelly Roll was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be on WWE television for a while. I feel like I ruined everything. But, I feel bad for him. I feel bad because he didn't do anything that they didn't ask him to do. Like he didn't take any liberties or anything. He's a fan and they wanted him involved. And are you going to like? You're a huge star and you love WWE and they want you to be part of the show, the main event.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say no.
You're gonna say no? Come on, get out of here. Anybody who would say different is just lying. But
would you do it? Would you do it, Jamie?
Absolutely, I would do it twice. Like I don't give a shit. But anybody who says they would, I mean, obviously afterwards, like, because there have been celebrity involvements where it's been great, and it's just that this one happened to be. It doesn't help that Jelly Roll is not an athlete, so it's not someone that could have really contributed too much in the ring, but it is what it is, man.
They will have, Jamie, if they tell you to be part of WWE, you will have to do a storyline with Danhausen and you got to turn on him.
I would do it 100%. Are you kidding? I would do it 100%.
Cursed.
I love Danhausen. I would love to work with Danhausen in against him or with him. I just the whole cursing thing though. I don't need any more bad luck in my life. So like I'm hoping that he'll keep the cursing to a working curse,
to a minimum,
a working curse, not a shoot curse, a working curse. But moving on. So Nakamura appeared backstage in another vignette. Someone who I keep saying is criminally underutilized in the WWE is Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, I've loved this guy in New Japan. I've loved this guy in WWE. I've just loved everything that he's done. And even the silly shit like with Rick Boogs, that made no sense. It's like, why are we going to put these two together? But okay, but they made it work. And Nakamura says he is returning once again, but this time he is not coming alone. He says he has gotten someone to help. It looks like he's going for the tag titles specifically, and he shouted out the MFTs. He shouted out, I think he talked about R-Truth and Priest or just he mentioned a lot of other teams as well. So instigating that he is returning with someone to help back him up. And he is no longer a lone warrior, and speculation is running rampant of who that could be. And I have my ideas, but Tim, I want to know if you have any ideas for who you think it could be.
Honestly, I didn't know who, honestly, until during our meeting yesterday, you said, oh, it could be this guy. And then I looked him up, and then, I saw a lot of people were posting about it. So, I mean, to me, after doing like that research, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But is Nakamura gonna come back heel or babyface? Because I feel like he was heel, and then he came back as a babyface. Yeah. And I enjoyed his heel run too. I wish they could have pushed it a little bit more, but I enjoyed the heel run.
Yeah,
it was the switch up of his team.
It was cool. Like the Nakamura's presentation as a heel, like when he had the samurai shit on, like that shit, that new entrance he had, that shit was hard.
Yeah.
But how are you going to make a dominant heel and like make him feared if you make him lose all the goddamn time? He lost every match that he had, and it's like, okay, like he's cool, but he's clearly not as more threatening than he was when he left because he's just losing all the time. So that really, I didn't love that so much. But
a lot of people like Nakamura too, man. I mean, Lil Uzi did a song in one of his albums to his theme, which is like, how do you?
Nakamura's nice as hell, man. Come on, what are we doing here? He's one of the best ever.
Yeah.
He's one of the best ever. I will say that. Like the way his career lately may not show so much, but he's the best. Yeah. He's one of the best ever for me, personally.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think his presentation is fantastic, but then when it comes to like the in-ring work, he's one of the best. But I'm saying, like, I feel like they don't allow him to showcase.
Yeah.
That they don't allow him to match the presentation, the entrance. You know what I mean? Just everything.
And But you were saying, I have my predictions, and a lot of people are predicting, it could be Naraku, who's already in WWE, but I think that would, like, I still think he has a lot more to accomplish in NXT before he gets brought up to the main roster.
That's what I said at first.
I still think he has a few more, maybe even just a few more months of, maybe by the end of 2027 he'll be there, but I still think he's going to be in NXT for a little longer. But my prediction, which I'm seeing online, a lot of people also have this prediction, is another formerly New Japan talent coming into WWE, which is one Hiromu Takahashi. And if you don't know who this guy is, man, at your behest, please go and check out this guy's work. He is incredible. He is one of the better New Japan talents that I've seen ever. He's not even that old too. He's in his mid-30s and he's wrestled everybody, and like he's put on classics.
I've seen stuff online about him, but to be honest, I feel like a lot of wrestling fans are probably gonna like comment or whatever, but I don't know too much about him. I don't really watch New Japan.
Which is fair. I think a lot of this tribalism, like, oh, you don't know who this is, you're stupid. It's like, no, come on. There's a lot going on right now.
But I've seen him pop up on my stuff. Like, I follow pages and, they'll post like, oh, like highlights and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this guy looks dope. But his presentation looks nice too, man. So I could definitely see him pairing up with Nakamura. But you know more about him than me. So
yeah, I mean, it's been reported that it's not been reported. He has left he did leave New Japan quite a bit ago, and it has been rumored that he is indeed signing with the WWE. I think it'd be interesting if he jumps to the main roster as opposed to, because Naraku, when he was evil, when he was in New Japan, I mean Naraku's a former IWGP heavyweight champion. And he's in NXT right now, and Hiromu would just skip ahead and just go to the main roster. That would be interesting to me. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I don't know how those deals work out, obviously, but that's my prediction. I think it'd be a great intro to him. He's such a great talent. He's insane. He's like a Japanese Brian Pillman. If I had to compare him to someone.
Very specific. That's a very specific.
The ticking time bomb, he's a little off kilter a little bit. He's definitely not all there, so to speak.
That's a specific choice. I like that.
Yeah, so if I had to pick, it would be him, but hopefully we see sooner than later, because if one thing I do not like is drawn out reveals in wrestling. Okay, well, to finish off SmackDown, we had We had a huge call up. We had Jade Cargill going off against Charlotte Flair, and Jade, of course, had her baddies come in and just make a mess of things and ruin the match, as they do. And but we had a returning Alexa Bliss, still favoring the arm. She still got a cast on, but she didn't come alone. The lights go off, and we have a main roster debut of Tatum Paxley. Former NXT Women's Champion, am I correct?
I believe so. Let me see. Tatum, Paxley. I know her and JC Jane, that they
went at it
together.
Yeah.
Let me see. NXT. I think she is. Yeah, she's a former one-time NXT Women's Champion.
Okay, I thought so. Yes. So I
did Women's North American Champion.
Yeah, so Tatum Paxley, hugely popular on NXT roster, and a lot of people have been, it's been her call up has been talked about for quite some time, and a lot of people were very happy to see Tatum. She's a fresh face on the block. She's ready for action. She did a top. She didn't do a top rope dive. She did a top turnbuckle. She jumped off the top of the post, and she seems to have aligned herself with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, and. That was a cool moment, Tim. I'm excited to see what we got. What's coming for her.
Yeah, man. She has like that goth, dark energy, and I feel like her, like I just said, I feel like her, JC Jane, all the women that's coming up from NXT now, seeing them on the main roster now, I feel like they're just gonna have great matches, great chemistry, great storytelling. But it was cool to see her pairing up with Alexa Bliss, like the way they introduced that. And Alexa Bliss came out, and then Tatum showed up. I think that was a good reveal, the way they did that.
Bro, why is SmackDown getting all the good female call-ups?
I was gonna say that too. SmackDown low key has been getting a lot of good call-ups and a lot of good like segments and stuff. And you like
look at the SmackDown roster right now, and leave women. Included. Let's talk on all the call-up. I mean, all the NXT people who are like. I mean, if Carmelo Hayes isn't that new anymore of a call-up, it's been a few years now, but he's on SmackDown. Trick Williams is on SmackDown. Femi comes and goes wherever he pleases, so sometimes he's on SmackDown. And also you got the Fatal Influences on SmackDown. You got Blake Monroe's on SmackDown, and now you got Tatum Paxley's on SmackDown. They're getting all this. Who's going to Raw? Who's going to Raw?
You got Jade, you got Baron Corbin, Cody, Punk.
I'm talking about these NXT call-ups specifically. Yes, all those people are great as well.
No, but I'm saying the roster, SmackDown overall is just like, stacked roster. But yeah, the NXT call-ups has been interesting.
We need a draft, man. Like there's I mean, don't get me wrong. I like both shows to be good.
I want it to be strictly them. Like keep them on SmackDown. Don't bring them to Raw for one night. Like
no, I'm arguing that Raw needs a little help. I'm saying I think we need to have a draft. I think the roster needs to be mixed up a little bit. I think it's leaning heavily that SmackDown has got all this talent. I mean, Raw's got some guys, but it's crazy when you go to a Raw versus when you go to a SmackDown, because you go to, like you mentioned, you go to a SmackDown, you get Punk, you get Cody, you get you get Oba sometimes,
Kevin Owens, now you got Kevin Owens, Gunther, crazy.
God, all these and Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Fatal Influence and Jade Cargill, and it's like, man, I'm not shitting on Raw by any stretch of the imagination, but thank God they got Roman. Thank God they got Randy. Seth and Randy. But it's Randy's on SmackDown. I'm saying thank God they got. I'm saying thank God Raw has those guys. But it's a different landscape over there. But congrats
SmackDown got Michael Cole.
It's true. That is true.
It's true. It's damn true.
It's damn true. But let's move on to Monday Night Raw. I thought this was really interesting. One of the things that they let us know early on in the show is we saw last week that Jacob Fatu absolutely obliterated Royce Keys in the ring and left him coughing up blood and all the fun stuff. They said,
I think he's written off for good.
They said he's
crazy.
They wrote Royce Keys off indefinitely, which is nuts to me this early on in his career. From what I'm reading, he's not legitimately injured. Like there's no, I don't know if he's legit hurt or anything, but I'm looking at my notes.
Harlem Hospital, man. They got him in Harlem Hospital.
But man, like this early on in your career, in your run in your run in WWE, and you're written off television like indefinitely.
I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy.
They said indefinitely. They didn't just say, oh, he's going to be out for a minute because he's recovering. Like they said, we don't know when this dude's coming back. And I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I think he needs a whole new character. I feel like the way they introduced Royce Keys, it was kind of like, like they're telling his story, where he comes from, but then there's no, they didn't execute it. You know what I mean? It was just like, okay, he comes from this, from poverty. He comes from the streets, but then it's like, so what do we do with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I thought, it would have been a little bit more, but I mean, maybe he comes back and give him a mask. Maybe put him under a mask,
God, no.
a whole new, put him in AAA, make him like, Mama Lucha Underground, Matanza, give him something like that.
How do you say I ate in Spanish?
I hate?
I
Like
ate?
oído.
Like his catchphrase, I ate?
Okay. Okay.
Just under mask, just is okay. Oh shit. But
Okay.
it's clear that he's talented as all hell. He's great. He's got the look. He's great in the ring. But it's clear that the way WWE shot him out of the cannon didn't connect. We could say that. It's been enough time now, right?
Yeah, man. I feel like send him to AAA, bro.
I don't know.
Like he'll probably flourish in AAA.
Oh, he'll crush into AAA. Are you kidding?
Because look at Almost is
a different
holding it down with
a different talent, but yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, like he's not Almost is not a luchador. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah, that's true.
And they got him over there, so I think him, going to AAA would be dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Royce is a great guy. And people like him a lot. I've met him on a few times. He's always been real cool. And I think he's great. And I hope the best for him. But just hearing that, I was like, God damn, indefinitely? Jeez. Okay, well.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That's tough.
That's tough. So we'll see what happens. It's then we had a fun little time with Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa, didn't we? A fun little back and forth between brothers. Solo just continues to get more and more over, just being more and more funny, man. Just like he's just fun, man. Like it's so interesting how they presented him from NXT to the Bloodline. It's just this like, I'm just this killer. I'm just this like I'll beat your ass everywhere. Like I'm not gonna say much, but I'm gonna beat you up. But it's a different ball game now, man. He's having fun. He's wearing different outfits. He's he cuts promos in the crowd, and they are all connecting. They're all loving it. People are loving it right now. I mean, it's a fun time to be. I mean, him ducking after the warning shot, asking if everybody was all right.
You guys okay right there? You guys okay back there?
And when he was listing Jay's accolades, like say, you won the Royal Rumble. And like when the crowd would go yeet, he'd go,
yeah.
Like he would do the full yeet. He just that's, if you can't see us.
Solo's over, man. Solo, he's so over right now, man. But then I think Jay was like, oh, you guys we're gonna have a match. We're gonna send your ass back to Roman. Something like that.
I mean, that's been ended up being the main event, and we'll get to that, which is they set up the match that Jay was going to face Solo in the main, and if Jay won, then Solo would essentially be brought back to the Bloodline. But if Solo won, then the Bloodline has to leave Solo alone forever. And we'll get to that in a minute. But we had a first round of the was this the first round of the Roman Reigns tournament? Let's call it the
AAA. I believe so. Yeah, we had Penta versus Laredo Kid.
Yeah, it's the tournament that Rey Mysterio set up with Roman Reigns, where the AAA talent are going to have a little mini tournament, and they're going to face Roman Reigns in Mexico City, I believe, right? Or is
the Monday Night Raw in Mexico City
for the World Championship.
Yep.
Yeah, which is I think is cool as shit. That's I think a good chance to show us a lot of AAA talent on Raw and stuff. I think that's dope. I mean, we've seen Penta all the time. Penta's a Raw legend at this point, but we got Penta
on the show, man.
I know. we know, Tim. We know that you need him on here, and we would love to have him. And hopefully we will one day. But Penta faced off against Laredo Kid, and it was an interesting match. It was cool. I'm really happy to see when AAA has been doing such amazing things over in Mexico, and it's cool when we get to see some of their talent brought over and showcased on a big stage like Monday Night Raw. And Laredo Kid, he did his thing.
Yep.
And Penta did pick up the win, and he does advance into the tournament. As much as we love Penta, and as much as we think that he's someone that's bound for the WWE Championship or the World Championship sooner than later, I kind of hope it doesn't come from this. Am I wrong saying that? I mean, they could give he's a Raw superstar. He's not a AAA superstar. Penta is a Raw superstar. And he could get this in any other means. And I just hope that they use this tournament to elevate someone else. That's just me.
I think overall, I think they're, because it's in Mexico City, I think this will be a huge opportunity for Penta. Penta versus Roman Reigns, World Heavyweight Championship, Mexico City. I think on paper that'll be good. But I understand what you mean. But any of the other luchadors, I mean, other than El Grande Americano, but
he's not
who
in
else?
It. But
yeah, I know exactly. He's not in it. So I mean, who else is in this tournament? I think next week, I think they got like Dr. Wagner Jr. or something.
Dr. Wagner's in it.
Yeah,
I think is Psycho Clown in it?
I think Psycho Clown is in it too. A Lucha Libre tournament. But yeah, man. I mean, let's see what happens. But I think we all could see that Penta probably gonna take the cake.
Yeah, I know. It's more than likely gonna be Penta. And yes, that match on paper in Mexico City for Roman versus Penta for the World Heavyweight Championship.
On paper, that sounds crazy.
That's dope. That's a cool idea. But I do hope that they use this opportunity to I guess this is
Ray Phoenix. They got Ray Phoenix, El Fiscal, El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Dragon Lee, Psycho Clown La Parka.
Getting La Parka on Monday Night Raw is going to be fun. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, that's going to be dope.
But yeah, I guess, at the end of the day, the more I think about it, the more you talk about it, I guess at the end of the day, this is just a great way to showcase AAA talent. But at the end of the day, they're going to put Penta in the spot. Yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I get it, but we'll see what happens. Let's move on to what they're doing with Bron Breakker right now and Oba Femi. I really think that what they're doing right now is I think how they're handling this right now and using kind of like what the internet is saying about how the shift has gone from Bron being like the breakout, like next big thing to Oba being the next big thing now. And they're using that as like Bron is being jealous of all the attention Oba's been getting, because I'm sure Bron would have loved to have retired Brock Lesnar. I'm sure Bron would have loved to.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think what they're doing with this is great. I think with the way they're handling Bron, right? It's because they haven't been doing much with him in the past few weeks, but these past couple weeks, specifically last week and this week, I think has been a whole new chapter in Bron Breakker's career. The focus is on him again, even though he's in a team still, and he's still one of the tag team champions. I still think that like whenever he's like when they cut that promo backstage with the Vision and Bron he wasn't even paying attention. He was just like in his own, you could see he was in his own head. Bron, I give Bron a lot of credit for his performance of being able to get across what he's thinking without saying anything. Like he was just silent, but you knew exactly why he was silent, and you knew what he was thinking. He's just pissed. He is pissed that he's in a, because like he's jealous of the attention Paul Heyman is giving Oba Femi, because he was like, oh, I'm a Paul Heyman guy, he's gonna shoot me to the fucking moon. But now he's like dapping up Oba at the end of the match. He's giving him his flowers and shit. Like he's not happy about it.
I feel like Bron is gonna spear the shit out of Paul Heyman on Raw.
Oh no! For me, put him on the shelf again. Oh no! But I'm loving I mean, I love to hear your take, Tim, but I'm loving what they're doing with so far. I mean, it's early, but
No, yeah, I think it comes off, you know, even the promos backstage with Paul Heyman where he's like, "Do you think?" Like he said something along the lines.
because he's like, Bron asked him if he thinks Oba's the next big thing, and then
yeah, you think he's the next big thing?
And then Paul asked him, "Do you think he's the next big thing?" Which I was like,
it's like Bron, like clearly, like you said, Bron is clearly jealous, and then Paul Heyman is just being Paul Heyman, you know what I mean? where he's just being sarcastic. Yeah, exactly. So, and you can see Bron is gonna snap any day now. Bron is gonna snap, and I wonder how that's it'll probably be the day they lose the championships. But I think Bron just needs to get out of the vision, and let's just, you know, get away from Paul Heyman. Just Bron Breaker. That's it.
Yeah, I don't see the vision being really after when they lose the tag titles, which they probably will sooner than later. I don't know to who, but when they do, I can't imagine. They'll probably keep Maxine and Austin Theory together.
I think Logan and Austin Theory should still, you know, continue to work
until Logan's healed at least. And but I just don't see the vision really being a thing anymore after they lose the title, and which I think it served its purpose. I think they elevated these talents to levels that they weren't previously, and I'm happy. Exactly. I mean, I think they should go and go do their own thing. And but I love the line they finished on, which was, "Give me a reason not to respect Oba Femi." Like, because they're asking, like, you respect. He was telling Bron to respect that. He was Bron asked Paul Heyman if he respects Oba Femi. He says, "Give me a reason not to." And so Bron was like, bet. Let's talk about someone who's in a very weird position right now, and that's a Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio took a clean loss to Dragon Lee on Raw this past Monday, and it's there are rumblings, but it's just rumblings. This is, I don't know how much credit we're going to give to just rumors and innuendo, as people say on the internet, and maybe this is all part of a bigger, like, long-term story plan with Dom, but he hasn't been looking too strong lately, and you know, people had their critiques of the match at SummerSlam with him and Danhausen, and now just losing to a match that didn't really mean anything to Dragon Lee. It's not to discredit Dragon Lee by any stretch of the imagination, but it was just like a match for him to lose. It wasn't any stakes in the match. It was just more of a match for him to lose for the sake of losing.
He beat the champion, the AAA mega campeón.
Yeah, so
crazy.
I don't know what's going on, Tim.
From what I saw online, I mean, you know, rumors. You know, let's call them rumors.
It's rumors, so you know, it's
it's rumors. It's not confirmed, but yeah, it could all be BS. But I don't know, man. I think definitely a little bit disappointed, because I feel like Dom is just one of the coolest guys on the roster. I'm not talking personality wise, yeah, but I'm talking about he's just cool. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you can hate him, you can love him. He doesn't care. You know, he's, you know, been selling the whole thing with raised a deadbeat dad, and you know, he's part of the Judgment Day. And I don't know. I just think I would have expected more from him now, especially like he had his WrestleMania moment. He's a AAA mega champion. You know, you would expect more, you know, from Dom, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something bigger planned. Maybe, you know, he'll get a new, there'll be a new reinvention of Dominic Mysterio. I mean, I don't know, but him losing like that clean to Dragon Lee, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's he's in an interesting spot right now. I'm hoping that, you know, this isn't a sign of any bad faith with the company or anything like that. It could all, like I said, this could all more often than not, reports like this turn out to be just utter nonsense, and there's really more to it that there's no more to it than what we're seeing. And I hope that's the case. You know, everybody loves Dom Mysterio, bad guy, good guy, which I hope he's not a good guy anytime soon. Maybe the Judgment Day has also run its course. I don't know. They've been around for a while now, and but we'll see. I don't know. Well,
Imagine we get clean cut Dom.
Just if he shaves the mustache ever, people are gonna lose their fucking minds.
Mustache and the mullet. He's gonna get a clean skin fade.
He just comes back looking like he did in 2021. Oh my god. Well, after that, we had another appearance by Big Cass. After the match, after said match of Dragon Lee and Dominic, Big Cass came in and destroyed Dragon Lee. Again, don't think any personal issue between Dragon Lee and Big Cass. It was just another person in the way. Javon Evans tried to get his lick back. Didn't work. Big Cass stayed in the Tims again. Nonetheless,
Tims, man. it was a good back and forth though. I'm not gonna lie. Like Javon knows how to sell a punch.
He showed some fight.
I was like, oh shit, you know.
But
I'm looking forward to that.
Just another another run in, no match yet. We haven't had a match yet from Cass, but and still no appearance of Enzo, no word or mention of Enzo Amore. So
yeah, man.
This is yet to be told. It's still very early in the ball game for Big Cass and his return. I want to finish the show talking about the main event that we had with Jey Uso and Solo, which I thought was a great match. I really actually thought this match was a really fun main event. Putting brothers together doesn't always work, but by and large, it leads to some good stuff, especially if you know each other really well. And I thought Solo and Jey had a really good chemistry. I thought this match made Solo look really strong. He really showcased his talents in this one, in my opinion.
I would like to see it on a bigger scale, like more bigger stakes. Maybe a stipulation, longer. You know what I mean? A longer match because they're brothers. Obviously, they're gonna have good chemistry. But I feel like this match was better, or you could feel that it was better than Jimmy versus Jey at WrestleMania.
Oh God,
like, you get what I mean?
I mean, come on.
You get what I mean? But I feel like this, seeing Jey versus Solo is something more like it makes sense. Solo and Jey, obviously they're brothers, but I think it flows better seeing these two go at it.
Yeah.
And man, I could see it way better than the WrestleMania 40 match between Jey and Jimmy. But
I mean,
again, I would like to see it more. I would like to see Solo and Jey go at it at a bigger stakes, a better stipulation, but just them two. No bloodline interference, just them two go at it. I think that would be great.
But now, as a result of that, we have Jey Uso picked up the win. Jey won, and now that means that Solo Sikoa is going to be delivered to Roman Reigns on a silver platter, as they put it. And people are having their opinions. Of course, it's wrestling. Why wouldn't they? And people are, people are scared. People are scared that we're finally getting, Solo on his own and he's crushing it. His stock is on the rise, and just to be another member of the bloodline, people aren't super hyped about the idea of Solo Sikoa joining the bloodline. Damn, that was hard to say. And I get it. I mean, it would kind of be a step backwards in his momentum, but I think the way they've been phrasing it, maybe we're not going to get what we think we're going to get. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I think Solo. If that's the case, I think Solo's going continue with this momentum and pump fake it like psych. I ain't going back. Doing something. But I feel like Solo right now is on fire. He's connecting with the fans. He's funny as hell. One of the funniest guys, in the roster. So yeah, I would like to see more. I mean, come on, even like seeing Solo as like IC champion, maybe getting an IC run or something.
But would you agree that joining the bloodline would be a big step back?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I truly believe it would be a step back, but I think he will have to pump fake it. Like I said, join for like a week and then turn on everybody immediately and be like, I ain't never joining. I ain't never going back, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we'll have to see on Monday what happens, because as of right now, it seems like Solo Sikoa is bloodline bound. But you know, that's the thing about about WWE television is there's always next week, and who knows what will happen on Monday Night Raw between Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. I'll be tuning in, and I know you will, Tim. So we'll talk about it next week.
Facts.
And that being said, we are wrapping up on another great episode of Complex Graps. I want to thank Cruz Montana for being here. That was a great guest. I was so happy. I was so hyped when we found out we were talking to him. He's everybody who's any Complex listeners. You don't know this guy if you don't know who he is and his pedigree. Man, he's someone to watch. He's special. He's real special, and you're going to find that out real soon. So check him out on NXT every Wednesday, Tuesday, or is it? I always forget. What day
it's every Tuesday.
It's every Tuesday. So catch every Tuesday on NXT. I'm sure he's got a lot to say following this new arrival of Zilla and his loss of his #1 contendership status, or a shot at the #1 contendership. So follow him. He's great. Thank you, Cruz. Tim, thank you for joining me as always every week. Ben, we missed you. Be sure to get the collections, the 2 collections from Complex Shop. That is the WWE ECW Complex collab, and also get the Ken Carson WWE Complex collab. All amazing products that you can get right now on Complex Shop and on WWE Shop, wherever you get your WWE products. I can't wait for next week. We've been going to some really heavy hitters with these guests, and I can't imagine that next week will be any different. So please tune in next week. We'll see you every Thursday here and Complex YouTube, on Complex Graps YouTube, on the Complex YouTube, Twitch, TikTok clips, wherever, Instagram clips. Just catch us everywhere, and we'll be there. I'm signing off for Tim and Jamie. We'll see you next week.